Hello everyone, today we're doing a video about my car. Recently I got an email about what type of car I drive, so today I explained it to you. This is a 2009 Chevy Cobalt SS Turbo. Originally created in 2005 to replace the Chevy Cavalier, the Chevy Cobalt came in 3 different versions: the LS, LT, and SS trim. The original SS had a supercharger and produced about 205 horses. And then in 2008, Chevy decided to make a turbocharged version, which is the version I currently have, which produces 260 horses with 260 pounds of torque. Originally priced at about $24,000 when bought new, the Cobalt SS Turbo is one of the cheapest cars with a turbocharger that you could buy. But before I go into more detail about explaining about the car, I want to explain why I got the car personally. Originally, back in about 2010, when I first graduated from high school, my parents bought me a Cobalt, but it was an LS version. It had roll-down windows, which I didn't even know they still made, considering the car was from 2008. Also, the car had no power locks, no features. I was lucky that I had an auxiliary port and automatic lights, but for whatever reason, that car had no features. It was slow, but I ended up falling in love with it for some reason. And that was basically what spurred me on to get this bad boy. Between the speed, the price, and the fact that it was thick, which I thought was cool, I figured I can't lose. As to how I got the car, that's a pretty funny story in and of itself. I basically worked like 3 jobs non-stop for like a few years, and then when it finally came time to get the car, it was definitely hard to find. And keep in mind, I come from New York. I had to drive all the way out to Maryland just to get this car. It was about a 5.5-hour drive. I drove the original LS I had with my sister and some friends with me. Then I got this car and my sister drove the other car home while me and a friend drove this car home. Also, keep in mind, when I first got this car, I didn't even know how to drive stick. So getting this car home from Maryland, which is again a 5.5-hour drive, without the knowledge to drive stick, that was an adventure in and of itself, but we're gonna save that for another video. And now it's time to get into the features of this car. It comes default with 18-inch wheels, and all models come with Brembo brakes, which are some of the best brakes in the business. The front seats also have these bucket seats, which are like a weird kind of suede upholstery mix. Overall, the front, it's pretty nice, and it feels pretty comfortable as it holds you in. And it's pretty good for long drives, I could see that admittedly. Satellite radio is automatically integrated into the car, not to mention you also get like a little auxiliary port here to use to play music through the speakers and whatever. The car also comes with Bluetooth, but it's not advanced Bluetooth like the Bluetooth that you're used to now. Like, the Bluetooth is only good for calls. You can't play music through the Bluetooth, not at all. You also get a sunroof in this car, which is pretty cool. This is the sunroof control button. This is the microphone for you to talk to when you're using Bluetooth. You also get OnStar if you want to pay for that, if you remember what OnStar is. But I mean, who really uses OnStar nowadays anyway? And there's no dome light in this car since, there's a moonroof. No dome light at all for the back seat, or any light at all for the back seat. So if you're sitting in the back and you need light, well, you're kind of out of luck there. The only lights from inside the car come from these lights on the rearview mirror. These little things. The back seat itself isn't really anything to write home about. It's not spacious, but it's not cramped. I'm 5'10" and I kind of fit here. I've got a decent amount of room between me and the chair, although the chair is not really fully back, but if the chair were back, it'd probably be like around here. But if there's somebody at least 6 foot over, I would not recommend them sitting back here easily. And the headroom really isn't too much to be desired back here. As for trunk room, for what the car is, you actually do get a lot of it. Like, the opening may not be the biggest, but you do get quite a bit of trunk room back here. Like, you get quite a lot of trunk room. And you even get a cargo net. Also, here's the subwoofer for the car over here. And you obviously got Pioneer speakers. I guess you can tell from the big Pioneer sign. On the steering wheel, you basically have the standard controls. Like, over here are your cruise controls. And over here, we have the button that you push whenever you want to start calling somebody using the Bluetooth feature. The volume up for the radio, volume down, change the radio channel, to make it go down the other way. And it's also the end call button for Bluetooth, obviously. Pretty standard. And now, it's time to start her up. Alright, if you're wondering what this thing, the A-pillar is, it basically gives you a whole bunch of information about the car. Like, first off, there's a speedometer, not to mention it tells you what gear that you're in, and it also has this light up thing that also recommends you when recommends when you should shift. And as a user, you basically said when it shifts. And so it's like the more revs you go up, it'll light up more and more and more, and then when this arrow lights up, that's when it's recommended that you shift. What else? And it also has a G-force gauge here for your left and right. What else do we have here? Okay, obviously the setup menu. I turned it off. A boost gauge. An air to fuel ratio gauge. A cam phaser angle gauge. I'm going to be honest here, I don't even know what most of these things are for. I'm not really that much into cars. I'm sort of into cars a little bit, but not that much. I'm going to pretend to know what I'm talking about. A spark advance gauge with, featuring knock retard. An engine power gauge. And it even tells you how much torque that you're currently using. Oh. Cool, look at that. This tells you the tire pressure on each individual tire. Battery voltage meter, thermometer, barometer, coolant temperature, inlet air, fuel pressure. But yeah, that's basically what that information gauge is about. Also, another cool feature of this car. You guys see this button over here? Well, if you hit it, it puts the car into competitive mode. So we're going to push the button, traction control off, and then you hit it one more time, and then you're in competitive mode. And as you can see, the car even comes with launch control. And the last feature I want to tell you guys about that this car has is called no lift shift. Basically, typically when you want to shift, you let off the gas and then you start shifting. Both this car, if you're going at a certain speed, well, if you're giving it like 100% full throttle, you don't have to do that. While keeping your foot on the gas, you can shift and the car won't, it won't be any trouble. And despite everything, one thing I can say about this car is it is reliable. It's never left me stranded. It is currently my only car and my daily driver. And I originally bought her with about 88,000 miles on her. And at this point, I've put about 100,000 miles on her. And she's still going strong. Pretty much no real issues, really. Just, normal maintenance and stuff. Nothing too crazy. And if you're wondering what the revs from this car sound like, well, then I'll show you. And that's pretty much my car. As to why I picked it, between the price, the power, the features, the sunroof, the styling of it, I figured, why not? I mean, look at that wing. Look at that wing at the back. But yep, guys, thanks for watching. Like this video to let me know that you like the content, and subscribe for more videos from me, and I'll catch you in the next one. I hate this antenna so much. I hate this antenna so much. Who even uses long antennas like this anymore? What is this, the 90s?